Uncle Samothy. Sam Seder went and talked to 20 Trump supporters. And boy, oh boy.
Hi, I'm Sam Seder, host of the Majority Report, and today I am surrounded by 20 conservatives. Trump's attack on DEI hides his real goal, which is to give corporations more power.
What a great, oh God, he presented that so perfectly. I really want to know, this is a tough way to tackle this argument from the conservative perspective, because that's just the truth. And not only is it the truth, it also is presented in a way that like makes it really hard to argue against.
I think I have a slight issue with...
Okay, first of all, this motherfucker is making the best latte of all time, okay? Why is this barista looking ass sitting across from Sam Seder and not talking about how Sam Seder is not radical enough? Like, this is a card-carrying DSA member in a polyamorous relationship with a non-binary person by the name of Sock, and yet here he is sitting across from Sam, not talking about it, things from an anarchist perspective and saying he's not going hard enough on how the concept of a shower is actually an unjustifiable hierarchy, but instead he's going to be sitting here being like Donald Trump is our Lord and Savior. Dudes that look like they own a vinyl collection should not be arguing to defend Donald Trump.
The attack on DEI isn't an attack on people's protections. It's on the other end of the spectrum, right? Wanting to end DEI doesn't want to end protections for someone being disabled, someone being, inaccessible to.
Dog, the conservative movement literally is running around saying that accessibility options like ramps are bad. Like they want more stairs, weirdly enough, which is so funny because like conservatives are the ones who are sitting on those mobile scooters going up those ramps. So it's just like odd that they would ever make such a thing a political movement, a formative part of their political movement. But no, that's, that is what's going on.
DEIA is not about quotas or anything like that. Within government agencies, it means things like, let's pay interns so that not only wealthy people can have their kids do internships in these agencies.
Right. And
you're really going to tell me that this dude is not going to start the conversation with a land acknowledgement? I mean, come on, bro. By the way, I'm not the only one who thought this. Conservatives watch this. This also goes back to the argument that I always point to. Conservatives love responding to shapes and colors and not actually the real meat of the matter. Because Cat Turd and all these other conservatives that watched these videos thought that Sam Seder was the conservative one and thought that these gay libtard looking commentators were actually the gay libtards. They literally thought that these guys were the liberals. Liberals are so dumb.
Which is to give corporations more power.
DEI essentially provides tax cuts for the...
Cat Turd thought that this person was the liberal, and Sam Seder, who was clean cut and older and wearing an outfit that they thought was better associated with conservatism, thought that they were the conservatives. Liberals are so dumb. That look you get when you have to debate a brainless, witless social justice warrior clown whose IQ is mid-50s. He's the progressive, actually. The guy you're calling the clown is a conservative. Whoops. Really? He sounded like the adult in the room. Lol. This is why I was talking about the way that these guys look. Will this person go back to the drawing board and maybe reconsider his worldview? No, he won't do that.
Even the DNC's nomination of Kamala as president this year, there was no reason to nominate Kamala as she wasn't democratically selected.
You think that's a DEI
She wasn't
hire?
Dude, the greatest counter to this is literally to say, yes, Kamala Harris is a DEI hire by one, pointing to Joe Biden's, oh my God, they're so bad at debating that now I'm debating for them. Okay, the best part of this argument is to literally say every vice president to a certain degree is a DEI hire. Okay, Joe Biden was a DEI hire to Barack Obama, just like Kamala Harris was a DEI hire to Joe Biden. You can just say that. That's a much better argument. Sam Seder would literally agree with you, and you would actually stoop him in this situation. You could say that to him, and then you could turn around and say Joe Biden himself said that he was simply looking for a vice president on the virtue of being a black woman. That's all that he basically ruined that argument by assuming it as a positive. Like, you could literally turn around and be like, Joe Biden said he was looking for a black woman. He wasn't looking for competence, more so that he said he was looking for just someone who fits that role. It's a great counter.
But that has nothing to do with Trump rescinding orders that basically say you need to search for a wide range of candidates. You need in your office accessibility for people who have physical handicaps.
Sure.
If you have
What is happening back there? Conservatives have lost the plot, dude. What the I didn't know there was an enemy stand user in the crowd. You know what I mean? Golden win.
Of folks who identify as, as trans, you need to make it at least hospitable and not, this is all non-discriminatory stuff.
The portions of DEI that even conservatives don't have issues with making workplaces.
This is such a funny way to admit defeat when you're like, well, you've actually presented the argument in a way that I can't agree against, and I don't like that. That's all he said. He's like, I don't actually like that you're presenting this argument in a way that makes my side look fucking stupid. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I guess you should agree to him then. What do you mean? I can't argue against this. I'm agreeing with your argument, and I don't like it. You have no counterpoints, so you just basically have two options here. Concede or just be a dumbass conservative. Of course, dumbass conservative is going to go with the second one.
Okay.
Was a function of doing exactly what I said, had nothing to do with quotas.
It is unfortunate that those things get taken out, and there might.
Yeah, this is the age-old conservative position. Okay. My position on this, by the way, in the way that these guys look, and I think that a lot of these are like new conservatives in general, is that COVID cooked it. COVID cooked a lot of people's brains. I said COVID broke this nation in meaningful ways we're too stupid to understand. Because Toffee says, watching the Sam Seder versus MAGA Jubilee video, I feel like something major has shifted here. I can't get over it. Why on earth do conservatives look like this now? Dudes who look like this should be doing theater and making iced lattes, not arguing in favor of fascism. Felix replied to me and said, nah, this is how conservatives will look like for quite a long time. He said, I definitely agree that we'll be experiencing the social background radiation from COVID/2020 at large for years to come. But we've had conservatives who look like this / their respective generations' versions of this for longer than we've had passenger jets or integrated circuits. And I respect Felix's position. So
might not have been specific.
What else was he trying to take out?
It's trying to take out people getting jobs that don't deserve those jobs.
Give me one example.
You can't ask me to pull up numbers when I'm not able to sit here and look on a computer for you. But these are.
Wait, what? I can't pull up numbers? Then why do you have a firmly held conviction on this issue? Excuse me, if you can't give at least one example, then why the are you even entertaining this? You knew that there was going to be a debate, but that even outside of the fact that you knew that there was going to be a debate and you probably should have prepared for it, this is the thing that frustrates me to no end about how conservatives operate, where they'll just have these like incredibly firmly held convictions, this worldview, right? Where you're like, no, DEI equals die. You don't understand. And it's like, but you don't have a single fucking example that you can bring up. Why do you have this conviction? You can't even point to a goddamn example. At least Charlie Kirk can be like, affirmative action is bad because a black woman took my job at West Point or whatever. You know what I mean? Took my slot at West Point. He's lying. But at least he's lying alongside his worldview. The fact that you can't even come out with like a single lie is shameful.
You're saying Trump specifically, and I understand why you're saying Trump, but I think the American people as a whole.
You've already lost the argument. You're just basically, again, trying to this is a very tight premise. So it's very difficult to counter it. But the premise is like Trump's attacks on DEI hides his real goal, which is to give corporations more power. It's because it's true. Not only is it true, but it's very well worded. So that's precisely the reason why, like, no matter how smart these guys might be, and I'm sure some of them are smart, they're having a really hard time tackling it. So they're like, oh, well, I don't mean like Trump. I don't want to talk about Trump. Drop Trump from the argument. Okay, well, he put Trump in there.
But a majority of the American people have kind of rejected DEI because, again,
I don't think a majority of Americans know what DEIA is.
That may be the case.
There is one party in this country that is identitarian. There is one party that is represented and it is homogenous, and it is the Republican Party. 85.
This is a decent take. This is a good way to restructure the argument. He's right. The Democratic Party has a lot of like non-white, non-in-group policies that, especially in terms of like social advocacy that it engages in. But the Republican Party is a true identitarian party in the sense that they do actively advocate for white identity politics. It's actually it's a decent way to reframe the argument.
What protects people from discrimination in housing and in work, in hiring, or getting loans? It's all statutes. It's all statutes. And in these government agencies, there was nothing except for that order. That's why Trump just rescinded it.
I'm gonna tap out because I think someone else.
Oh my God. That is, ooh, they didn't even flag him. He just tapped out. That's crazy. Oh my God. Oh my God. That, oof, the conservative movement is taking L after L after L here. God damn. This was one of the most heartbreaking and embarrassing demonstrations of the decline of American education. We used to disagree on points of opinion. Now we disagree on points of fact.
They just revoked the ability of the Air Force to teach Air Force members about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Okay, well,
honestly, like they're rewriting history.
Well, that's your perspective, right?
He's like, well, Sam, I'll have you know, I don't know what you're talking about. What is a Tuska? Tuska, what did you say? Tuska, what now? Maybe that experiment was woke and gay, and I'm glad that they actually deleted it. Oh, that's awesome.
If you were racist, right, and you were an employer, and if you wanted to absolutely be racist and exercise that, you would. I think DEI sort of prevents people from seeing the reality.
Wait, what? What is this argument, man? No, just stick to, don't come up with your own argument. Just stick to the basic conservative arguments, dog. No, you are entirely too stupid. You are entirely too dumb to come up with your own arguments. Also, someone is in here talking to me about Tuskegee Airmen. Yeah, I know, dude. I was making a fucking joke. Okay, I know what the fucking Tuskegee Airmen experiments were. I can't even joke about shit in this chat. People will be like, oh, well, actually, I'll have you know if you didn't know.
DEI essentially provides tax cuts. For the end of the year, when you create your tax returns, they give you a tax credit for hiring someone who is black or a person of color.
In government agencies, they don't get tax cuts for hiring people.
I love giving tax breaks to the Department of Education for hiring DEI candidates. Yeah, famously, this is how things work. We're giving tax breaks. We're giving tax breaks to the FDA.
We're talking about government agencies that do not get tax cuts. They don't. Government agencies.
They don't.
No.
No.
Yes, they do. They absolutely do.
No. Why is he so fucking smug, dude? This is what I mean. It's like, he's like, they do actually.
Government agencies don't pay taxes.
That is not true. And you know what? I think
that is not, government agencies are funded by taxes. They don't get tax breaks. To which he responded with, that's not true. What is truth then? Look at Sam's face. At this moment, he was like, okay, dude, this is so much worse than fucking having like libertarian callers call in because god damn, dude, literacy rates have dropped. How can you argue with a person that just is wrong about everything? Like basic, fundamental shit, you know what I mean? Like, how do you argue with a guy like that? How do we fix this shit? Ironically, education, funding education, okay? I would say re-education, but honestly, there is no re-education here because there has been no education prior. So just education. Open the schools. Abolish homeschooling. Bro, what do you mean how? You do this daily? I know. I think I have a much higher barrier where I do entertain a lot dumber statements because I argue with like anonymous people. But even if I were to meet someone in the real world who, you know, said things like this, I probably would have lost it way before Sam.
DEIA forces them as an agency to say, if you have a job opening, you must do your best efforts to make sure that every
I like that.
part
I love
of
me a
society.
buzzword. You must do your best effort.
Bro, oh my God, he's so fucking stupid and so condescending. He's so stupid and condescending. That's a buzzword. What do you mean? No, he's just describing what DEI is. A really good way to put it is, and Sam kind of talked about this as well, but this is something I've mentioned before. DEI throughout American history has only existed for one group of people. If DEI in the way that Republicans understand it, which is elevating people who do not deserve that position to a position of power and actively undermining qualified individuals for that role, if that is what DEI means, which is not what it is anyway. It has only existed for one group of people in this country throughout history. And ironically, DEI seeks to address that. And that is white men. That is DEI in the way that Republicans talk about it. There was a time not that long ago when even white women were not elevated to positions of prominence, to positions that they were worthy of. For a very long time in this country, obviously, black men and non-white men as well were not elevated into positions of power. There are still remnants of this kind of disproportionate way of elevating people into positions of power that still exists in modern capitalism as well. That is what DEI initiatives are supposed to address. It is not about creating a liberal quota system. DEI initiatives are supposed to say, okay, the goal of DEI initiatives are to simply, one, offer additional background, like background education, like affirmative action and whatnot. Is supposed to address some of the systemic discrimination and the systemic imbalance that exists for educational outcomes for white people versus non-white people, all right? But also beyond that, DEI initiatives are supposed to force both government agencies and also everybody else to not overlook black people, okay? Not overlook brown people, black people, women, trans people on the virtue of their background. And considering that there has, throughout American history, been a DEI initiative for white men, it's an understandable means of addressing the existing remnants of said discriminatory hiring practices. That's it.